Hi guys, I'm Chris and welcome to Get Good at Golf. Today we're talking about one tip that we see a lot in lessons that's going to help you improve your game forever. What we want to look at today, guys, is we're talking setup through the bag and how we can improve that to get you hitting more consistent shots, controlling your flight, controlling your spin, and in general, get good at golf. So I'm going to start today, guys, with wedges, and wedges is one big thing. It's an area of the game. It's those awkward shots. It's in and around the green. Oh, how wide do I go with my stance? Right, when I get back to 60, 70 yards, what do I do? Do I hit full wedges? I don't. I've seen so many videos. I'm going to talk through that now. So first of all, if we're around the edge of the green, guys, we want to think if you're within 30 yards, if I was going just towards this bunker or just over, we want to think I wouldn't address a golf ball with a full normal stance for that. Reason being, if I'm this far away from the golf ball, we're going to have a lot of movement on that club. So we're going to have a lot of face rotation. We're also going to have the chance to obviously move off the golf ball. In chipping, we're not trying to move off the golf ball. We're trying to keep it nice and consistent. How can I be consistent? I can get my stance nice and narrow. So as a rule, a club width apart. You'll see there, nice and easy. I can be consistent, get the club width apart in my stance, and I'm also going to get a little bit closer to the ball, so around about a foot away from the ball, depending on your size of foot. It might be a little bit further away. James has got canoes.
You do know a foot is a foot.
Well, yeah, a foot
12
away
inches.
from, but if you're using your shoes, actually a foot is a size 11, so if you're a size 11, it's perfect. Right, but you're going to see I'm around about a foot away from that golf ball. Club width apart. From here there is less chance. If I move off the ball, I'm going to lose balance, and balance is key when we're talking short game. When we're trying to get a nice consistent contact, we want to be turning the body better, and that's what I can do from this narrow stance. Nice and easy now. I can make a simple motion back and through and landing at the area that I want to. So you see there, guys, able to make contact. If I want to change that ball flight, I can then sit the same setup. I can open up that club face, I can present more loft, and I can hit a shot that launches a little bit higher and goes a little bit shorter. So on those short shots, that's everything from just off the edge of the green all the way up to 30 yards, or where you start to think I'm hitting a pitch shot. So the next area of shots we want to talk about, and how do I set up to that, is now a pitch shot. So if I'm hitting a pitch shot, if I'm hitting 50, 60 yards, which is the first flag here on the right, I need to get a little bit wider with my stance. Because I'm making a longer motion, I need to get that stance ever so slightly wider, but I'm not going to go straight away to the wide stance as if I'm hitting a full shot. So all I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to go 2 club widths apart. Ball position then, guys, for this kind of shot, we are trying to hit down on a wedge, we are trying to flight it in, so it's going to be back of centre. So just behind centre, that's going to allow me to have that little bit of forward shaft lean just because of the ball position. It's not because I'm trying to get my hands forwards, and this is what we see from a lot of amateurs. So I'm still as close to the golf ball, the ball position is a little bit back, and from there now I'm going to make more of a motion and get that flight in low with a lot of spin. A little bit long there, plenty of spin on that golf ball that I now need to know I can just make a smaller swing. So if I make a smaller swing, I can then get it to that first flag. So again, stance gets a little bit wider, ball position is back. Now I'm going to go a little bit shorter. And you'll see lands and stops pretty quick. So that is now, for you, is up to where you're going to hit maybe a 3/4 shot, because you might hit back to the furthest flag, that might be around about 90 yards, and we still don't want to get a full width, because we're not going to be hitting full shots with wedges, we're going to be controlling them. The most we want to see is a 3/4 shot. And now if I move back to 90 yards, all I am is a little bit further away from the ball, the stance width stays the same, and then I just commit to that motion, and you'll see I'm nicely in balance. There's a good flight on there. If James hopefully zoomed in on that one.
I didn't, I was thinking the shot tracer.
Oh dear.
Is it that one next to the flag?
It is, that back flag.
Good shot, sir. So some expert tips there from Chris about how to stand properly to wedges, and I can't tell you enough how important that is. People think stance is all about drive, all about irons, which I'm going to talk you through now, but the wedges are where you make your score and where you can get good at golf. So you'll see here that I've got a 6 iron and an 8 iron. Chris must be using the 8 iron because it is absolutely filthy. And people think, well, how do I stand 2 different irons differently. So with an 8-iron, guys, we still want to make a nice fast swing, we still want to generate club head speed, so we need a nice solid stance. I'm going to stand shoulder width apart here, and that's going to allow me to load up into the top of the backswing and project off there and rotate through to my left side. If I stand too narrow and I try and take the club away with a nice wide arc, you'll see that I start to fall away there, and even if I manage to take the club away and then try and attack it, you'll see that I'm going to really struggle and fall forward. The key here is to stand as wide as you can whilst you can still get a full turn. If you don't get a full turn, you're not going to generate the power. You still need to keep your balance and you need to get the strike. If you stand too wide, so if I was to stand this wide, what does that do to my turn? Heavily restricts it. And I've seen people who stand like this because they think I need to stand as wide as I can to get a strike and I don't want to lose my balance. So it's key to be athletic, it's key to have the right stance width. For me, with an iron like this, it just needs to be kind of shoulder width apart so you can load up into your trail side. And what changes from, I'm trying to avoid Chris's crater there, what changes from the 8-iron to the 6-iron, you ask? So ball position will obviously change because you want to get the 6-iron ever so slightly forward, because we're going to attack it a little bit more shallow to get that dynamic loft to the ball, to get the ball launching in the air. Also, the shaft length is ever so slightly longer with the 6-iron, so all I'm going to do is accommodate my stance with that. You'll see the 8-iron, I'm here, the arms are hanging and the shaft length is dictating how far I am from the ball. With the 6-iron, if I was to do that, I would be too close to that ball. So again, I'm going to stand nice and athletically, the arms hang, and again that shaft length is dictating how far I am from the ball. Then I move the ball ever so slightly forward. I know the stance width needs to be shoulder width apart, that doesn't change. And from there, I can make a nice attacking movement. You'll see I've kept my balance. You'll see I've had a nice strike down there at the ball, and I've generated some good club head speed.
So James is going to set up now for us, guys, and show you how you can reference if you're too close or too far away from the ball. So if you're too close like James is there, there's no gap between his hands and his waist. His arms are not hanging down from his shoulders, and he's going to make all those funky moves. He is there. If James now gets too far away, you'll see his hands will be reaching, so they'll not be underneath his shoulders. There you go, you'll see they'll be outward, and then from there you see the toes in the air, and it's very hard to make contact. So nice and clear, guys. If you want to check your posture, there are 2 good checkups you can do. Start to see that James will take a nice solid posture now. His arms are straight underneath his shoulders, and he can make a much better motion.
So we've gone through wedges, we have gone through irons. How do I stand to a driver to make sure that I A, keep the ball in play, B, hit it as far as I physically can, and C, make sure that I get the strike every time? Consistency is key here. So I'm going to stand a little bit wider than I would with the irons. Why is that, you ask? Because we obviously have a longer golf club, which means it's a longer lever system, which means it's going to be moving faster, which means we need a more solid stance to make sure we keep that balance and get the strike properly every time. If you stand way too narrow with a driver, same as with the irons, you're going to lose your balance a little bit more, but it's going to be more catastrophic for you because of this shaft length. So how does that look, Chris?
A little bit too wide.
A little bit too wide, and again, exactly the same as with the irons, I'm going to struggle to generate any real power with this. I can hit the shot and I can get it out there moving, but you'll see how uncomfortable that looks. It's just disappearing over the brow of the hill, Chris, there, and you'll see how I'm not going to generate the speed that I need to. So I'm going to go just wider than shoulder width. I'm going to make sure I'm nice and athletic, so stand nice and tall. I'm going to bend from the hips. I'm going to flex the knees a little bit. Again, I should be able to jump up in the air there a little bit.
The athleticism there.
I was waiting for that.
Unbelievable.
Ball positions forward because we know that we're going to get a shallow angle of attack. We're trying to deliver some dynamic loft to this club from there, and basically I want to make sure I can hit this ball as hard as I physically can, move as fast as I can whilst maintaining balance. That is what this stance helps us to do. So from here I can make a nice solid swing, I can keep that balance, I can get the strike I want to every single time, and that is how you get good at golf, by making sure you keep your stance consistent.